Hello YouTube and Facebook followers, this is Half Man, Half Cichlid. Are you interested in making sure your African cichlids' nutritional requirements are being met? Are you interested in getting the highest quality food for the best price? Join me in discussing this very important topics. The results will surprise you. We all know, and as a biologist, I can assure you there are two things that are of vital importance to our tropical fish: water and food. In this video, I am going to cover the topic of how you can assure that you are providing your fish with a high quality, healthy diet and at a competitive price. I first want to acknowledge that this is an emotional subject. You've seen hobbyists get defensive and argumentative about any suggestion that there are better foods than what they are feeding their fish. It's almost as if aquarists feel like they're being told that there is no better foods to feed their children. My goal in this video is to cut through all the marketing hype that is out there on the different brands of African cichlid foods and focus on what is really important to fish nutrition and provide the facts and the data so you too can make more informed decisions. If you've followed me so far, let me make one recommendation, and that is to tear up what you know or what you think you know about African cichlid food. First, a disclaimer. I do not sell, make profit from, nor receive free samples from any of the tropical fish food companies. My observations are based solely on the facts and data, my 50 years in the hobby, and education and training in biology. First, a few quick points on the source of the data and the observations. I've collected it from manufacturers' websites, the fish manufacturers' customer service departments where the information wasn't readily available. I got the pricing information from Amazon, and also referenced some published papers on the subjects I'm going to cover. So what is important in a diet and making decisions on which food to buy for your African cichlids? Understand what the natural diet is. Are the fish that you have carnivores, such as predator haps, or herbivores, which eat primarily algae, like the mabuna? What are the ingredients? How much protein is there? And what's the source of that protein? Is it animal-based protein or plant-based protein? Cost, very important, especially if you have a lot of aquariums. Lastly, personal preferences. Smell, sinking versus floating. Do your fish like it? Does it cloud your water? And so on and so forth. Now the 6 brands I selected are the Northfin Cichlid, the Cobalt Large Cichlid Pellet, New Life Spectrum Cichlid Formula, Ken's Premium Cichlid Sticks, Ikari Sinking Cichlid Gold, and the Extreme Aquatic Foods. I selected what I found to be the most common brands that the average Joe had access to in ordering, like I do, from Amazon.com. No attempt was made to look at specialty formulations or jumbo-size packages. All the sizes investigated were your typical size that are just about 1 pound, actually from 12 ounces to 20 ounces in size. Before I get started, there are a few observations I need to make about krill. There are no krill in the natural diets of African cichlids. Krill are from the oceans. A large part of their body is what's called an exoskeleton, like the outer body of insects. Studies have found that diets too rich in krill can result in the exoskeleton irritating the intestinal linings of African cichlids. I'm not saying one should exclude foods that contain krill, Manufacturers use krill because it's a very inexpensive, renewable source of aquatic protein. In fact, nearly all the manufacturers use krill to some degree. What I do personally is limit the amount of krill in my fish's diets, and I never feed them whole krill. In the next slide, I list the ingredients of the 6 brands of African cichlid foods, and I categorize the sources of protein as either animal or plant-based. A food with primarily animal-based protein works well for predator haps. In my experience and studies, a wider variety of animal-based protein is preferred over a diet with a high percentage of krill. Krill, which is not natural to the diets of predators. On the other end of the scale, Mbuna prefer diets that contain more vegetable protein and a broader variety of vegetable proteins. And the winners are Cobalt, Ken's, and Cichlid Extreme, which have the largest variety of animal-based proteins and the least amount of krill. A food containing a large variety of protein sources is preferred for its nutritional value. These 3 foods, Cobalt, Ken's, and Cichlid Extreme, would be logical bets for feeding your cichlids that are predatory or carnivores. On the other end of the protein spectrum, NLS has a broad range of vegetable-based proteins and would be a good choice for Mbuna and other herbivores. Moving right along to the ingredients analysis, Ken's and Cobalts have the highest protein level at 44%. This, coupled with having the greatest variety of protein, would make both these fish foods, Ken and Cobalt, good choices for predators and for carnivores. And now for the cost comparison. I evaluated the cost per ounce of food and the cost per ounce of protein and found some amazing results. Ken's and Hikari are nearly one half the cost of the most expensive brand, Northfin. I found nothing in my analysis, nor on the Northfin website, that would justify this huge difference in pricing, in my opinion. Please note that I did not compare pricing on larger packages of any of the foods, where quantity discounts may or may not apply. Nor did I evaluate pricing from other distributors of these products. If many of you are like me, you buy your food online for its convenience, likely through Amazon. In summary, here are the results of the 6 brand comparisons. Depending on whether you have predator haps or Mbuna, and depending on how deep your pockets are, given the large differences in pricing, hopefully this information will give you some additional information, and without the marketing hype, to make your African cichlid food decisions. I will be publishing another video soon on what I personally use to feed my 1,000 gallons of African cichlid display tanks, walking you through the logic and how I tweaked the information in this video to come up with even better food decisions. I hope you learned something from this video. I know it's an emotional topic and will create some constructive dialogue. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. Thank you.